I also want to go back to last week's Divide Stuff About Sports special. Me and my daughter on our birthday yesterday were watching the second Lion King when Simba's daughter became part of the picture. And that's another reason why Simba's one of the worst cat characters of all time, how he's overrated. He runs away from home and he beats up a 60-year-old elderly lion. And then how does he honor his father? How does he honor Mufasa after he let him die and disgraced this, whatever their last name, King family name? He doesn't even produce a son. He can only produce a chick. So he's out there.
Come on.
He's out there making love. You couldn't give. I mean, you had to let Scar's illegitimate son, the Brunkle or whatever the cousin sisterhood thing is. Simba, you're overrated, and nothing's ever gonna change that opinion.
I don't know, man. With the females run that pride, bro. They're out there hunting and shit.
Listen, females run the pride in this house. Tell you that much.
Hey, this one too.
Okay, let's talk about sports.
Sports.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stuff About Sports, presented, as always, by the Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Facebook felon, Jerm. That is the prettier Corey.
Yes, sir.
Bert. What's up, man?
What's up, man? It's good to see you again. I know I'm not in our usual spot, but, things are getting a little hectic and weird in the summertime, but, glad everybody can make it, or if you're watching it, on a delay, welcome.
Yeah, listen, with the summertime, schedules change. People got things to do, and we're glad that we can be here on a Thursday. Next week, Bert's going on a little family vacay, and
Today is Friday.
What's today? What did I say?
You said Thursday.
Thursday. Ooh, Friday. Sorry. See, that's
we could have done Thursday, but we didn't want to conflict with,
Oh no, it was my birthday. I wasn't.
It was Jerm's birthday yesterday. For those that may not have saw the posts, him and his Cubs' birthday. So, happy belated birthday to you, officially.
Thank you. Me and my daughter went out yesterday, hit the streets. We decided to hit up the Walmarts, the Targets, the GameStops, the Independence Mall in Wilmington, North Carolina. And she got everything she deserved, and I got a nice little dinner, and everybody was happy.
I saw you had some gator, man. How was that?
Listen, it was fantastic for the people who don't whose palates, all you brokies out there that don't get to experience the luxury.
All you.
Yes, all of them. We lost you. I can't hear you, Bert.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back now. There you go.
Yeah, the headphones are.
Oh no, it's not happening today. Oh no, Bert can't hear me.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can adjust this real quick.
I wonder if everybody else can hear me. Hey, if somebody can hear me, Ricky, what's up, man? If you can hear me, holler if you
All
hear
right,
me.
there we go. We're back.
There we go.
We're back.
We're back, baby. Hey, that's Ricky from Pain Train Pipe Bomb. What's up, man? Trisha, the Mets Extremist. Everybody, if you're a Mets fan, go to the Mets Extremist. We're going to talk about the Mets, actually. We're going to actually talk about I'm actually going to talk about mad baseball players. Bert, before we get there, how much did it bother you that sounds like Pipe Bomb's having drifting? Okay, there we go. We got you. How did you feel about Kucherov drinking beer with his beer belly out as Tampa Bay Lightning go back-to-back, which I think probably winning back-to-back hockey titles might be the most impressive hockey feat, but it's not without maybe a little asterisk. Go ahead and talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody's going to say there's a little asterisk for sure, because last year, obviously, with COVID, they shut down and then they played it in the bubble. And then this year with the shortened season, it is what it is. But take nothing away. I mean, you still had to win more games than the other team, and it's still a tiring feat, too, in what they've done. But it's still a huge accomplishment in itself. Now, I'm happy Tampa Bay won. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I didn't have a dog in this fight, but have a lot of former Ranger players that went to Tampa Bay, and as a result, happy for guys like Ryan McDonough who got to hoist it now for the second time, the Stanley Cup. When it comes to Kucherov, though, I have a huge issue. Not from a celebrating on the ice, that's fine. Drink all the beer you want, celebrate on the ice, that's perfect. But there was already some controversy around the fact that he didn't play all season, and as a result, they didn't hit their salary cap but through some sort of weird loophole stipulation, since he came back for the playoffs, that didn't necessarily affect this year's cap, and he was still able to play, and the team was still able to be better for it. And he's a solid player, right? He's certainly an asset to them. The biggest issue I have is this doof at the table with the microphone doing his post-game presser, and not that, look, go celebrate, do what you want, but like the amount of trash he was talking about a team he just beat handedly 4-1, and their fans, like, dude, that's where a part of me wants to ring him back and be like, have some sort of respect. And to attack a fan base, and I get it, when Montreal was basically staying off a sweep. They didn't want, when they was back in Montreal, they had already dropped the first game. They go to game 4. They could have been swept. They didn't. They ended up winning, and their fans celebrated. Why did they celebrate? Because they didn't have to go home with possibly one of the most embarrassing things to do in any playoffs, which is lose 4-0. Plain and simple. It would be the same as in the NFL playoffs if you show up to a playoff game and you score 0 points. Because they don't play 7 games like others do. So they celebrated like they should have. They had a second chance in hopes that they can get a third chance and a fourth chance, and then they would clinch the cup. So Kucherov goes, oh yeah, their fans, I don't know what their deal was. They were celebrating like they won the Stanley Cup. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you just won 1 game. Are you kidding me? That's what I have a problem with. Like, I get what he's saying, but dude, just shut the fuck up. They're happy. They're fans. First off, the Canadians haven't seen a final in, I think it's 40 or 50 years to start. And secondly, like, dude, if I was a Ranger fan and I would just witness, basically keeping a sweep off the table, I'd celebrate too. And it would give me life knowing that we live another day, so to speak. So I have a huge problem with that. I think he just acted like an absolute doof. I mean, go celebrate, do what you want. But I mean, those players, they played hard, and to the same thing, those fans, they were happy. So, I mean, let them celebrate. Keep your opinions to yourself. No one wants to hear it, especially from you, because everybody thinks that you cheated by coming back. And for everybody saying he didn't, I know he didn't, but still, you get what we're saying. So, yeah, I mean, look, happy for the Tampa Bay. Kucherov can go shove it at this point.
Let me give a round of applause to Kucherov, because he said, I'm going to sit at home, and then you know what? When it matters, when the games actually matter, I'm going to come in and save the day. I love that. That's a heady play. That's a heady play, Bert. You come in, you know how good you are, and you win a title off of it. And so it's a good thing. And sports needs that, but it doesn't matter, because guess what, Bert? Next season, Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, let's go. Expansion draft in a couple weeks.
Can't wait. And so he may be in Seattle. Who knows? So we'll see about that. No, doubt that.
No,
I doubt
they're not going to put him on the block. No.
Yeah. Montreal was there in the 90s. Hey, listen.
30 years. 30?
But listen.
30 years.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, 30. Jeez, 2020.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ,
oh, my
right?
gosh, man.
Fucking
We're
A.
old, man.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? You just made me feel old as hell, man. That was my birthday yesterday. I couldn't.
Blame Ricky. He corrected me. I was about to leave it at 50.
Jeez, Ricky must work for. And so that we'll move on from hockey to baseball, Bert. And we just got 2 more dropouts in this All-Star game: Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve.
Carlos Correa, fuck him.
I know these guys.
Both.
I know.
Fuck them both.
Are you hating on the Astros, by the way? Like,
I will continue. Look, I will continuously hate on those Astros. Yes, the players that were a part of the problem, 100%. Give me the Altuves, the Correas, the Springers, like everybody else. I will continue to hate on them until they retire from baseball, because they all knew what was going on and they all reaped the benefits from it. And then when it came time to come out with an apology, they shuffled in, kind of slouched it off, and then have the fucking gall to sit here and basically be like, well, yeah, everybody's being kind of hard on us, and the fans, and you have players throwing at you, have pitchers throwing at us. Like, yeah, because everybody's pissed that you compromised the game. Like, it is what it is. Like, you did the deed, now you have the punishment for it. So that's why I will continue to hate on them. So I'm sorry, carry away. They dropped out of the All-Star game.
Yeah, Bert, get over it. So listen, everybody get over it, because, I mean, yeah, they cheated, whatever. let me tell you. Let me run through some stats here for these Houston Astros that everybody hates so much. 54-34 record, Bert. Okay, they're number 5 team at home, but they're number 1 on the road. Just take a wild guess where they rank in batting average. Number 1, hits per game. Number 1, runs per game. Number 1, RBIs per game. Number 1, strikeouts per game. Number 1, on base percentage. Number 1, slugging percentage. Number 2, they can't win at everything. They are great, not good. They're great. And so you can you can cheat when you're the best, man. Like you can get away with shit like that. The Patriots got away with it for that long. The Astros can get away with it because there's nothing you can say. They're like, all right, so they banged on some trash cans, bro. It's like the same argument I have with the steroids guys. Like, yeah, they took some steroids. Who cares if they shot horse tranquilizers in their eyeballs? Guess what?
Listen, taking steroids and getting juiced up for more power is different than knowing the pitch that's coming. I can sit here and argue you have a better advantage, obviously, of knowing what pitch is coming down the line than you do if you're just jacked up. You still have to see the ball and know what's coming. But if you know what's coming, it's a far more advantage, plain and simple. That's why you can relate it to steroids all you want, but it's so different.
Hide your pitch calls better. Do something. If they can figure it out that easily, then hide them better. And you could do it too. Find out what our pitches are. That's my problem with all this old timey baseball unwritten rule bullshit. Everybody can do the same thing. It ain't that hard to figure out to put some guy in the stands. We see it all the time. We were just at a game together. People have their little stupid little notebooks and they're acting, they're jotting down numbers and stats and they're watching a bunch of shit. You can do that, and anybody could do it. There's just the Astros were smart enough to do it, and they go against the grain, and I like it. I like it because if I'm all for bat flipping after a single, then I'm pretty sure I'm cool with you banging trash cans and doing whatever else you got.
Do you think there should be an alternative though to instead of signs? Do you think that we're at the point, especially with technology now too, where it would be plausible to have a catcher wear an earpiece and the pitcher have some sort of tiny microphone on him, whether it's in the glove when he's got it up when he's trying to call signs, or even if it's somewhere on him where he can softly speak while covering his mouth, and there it is. It's verbally relayed, and you're good to go. Look. I think rather than look at technology as obviously a weapon to steal signs, why don't we use it, much like a lot of our arguments with baseball, to enhance the game, to make it harder for them to steal the signs. And in addition to that, use it for a strike zone. For God's sake, get rid of umpires. Just have an automatic strike zone.
Seriously, get rid of umpires. And Ricky says, sorry to say, even if you see it, you still got to hit it. Exactly. Who cares? Hide your signals better. If your signals are getting stolen, that they can come up with this whole elaborate plot. It wasn't like they had any type of telescopes in everybody's practices. They watched a bunch of your games. You never changed your pitch calls, and they figured out what it were, and boom, here it is.
The issue that they were using the technology and the video to let someone know it's
anybody
coming.
Could do that. Anybody could.
I know anybody can do it, but you're not. The point is, you're not supposed to do that. Anybody could do it, but you're not supposed to. That went back when the Apple Watch first came out, and I think it was the Red Sox. They had their bullpen staff wearing them, and the MLB said, "Oh, you can't do that just in case you're trying to steal signs and shit like that." So, I get they're trying to prevent obviously the cheating, if you will. If they came out and said, "Hey, teams use whatever you want," then fine, that's great. But the fact that you had 30 plus other baseball teams that were just no, we're not going to use it, well, or at least didn't get caught. And furthermore, if you are using it and you didn't win the World Series, then shame on you. And they're the ones that got caught.
Well, that goes to my Astros theory. Even if you are cheating, you still have to have the players on the field, like Ricky was saying. You still have to hit the ball. So,
plus they only did it at home too, right? Where they could control. They couldn't do it on the road, knowing that they didn't have obviously the technology in visiting stadiums. So, right there, you have 50% of your games you're supposed to win because you're using this, but you still have to go on the road. So I'll still take the argument that they had to be a good team, but I still won't respect them.
The fact that I just read you the stat that they are number 1 on the road just proves all the cheating bullshit. That's why it's hard to hate on the Astros. They got caught, but even now when they can't cheat because everybody's watching them, they're still a top 5 team at home where they were cheating, and they're number 1 on the road. So you can't. You still have to be good at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but to go back to my hatred towards them, it stemmed even before cheating because I'm a Yankee fan and they used to beat the shit out of us in the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
true,
I mean,
true.
Yeah,
That's because they're good. And the Yankees are not. So, Bert, I'm gonna put my Mets fandom on the line.
On
here.
hold?
I'm gonna on hold. I'm gonna be objective because everybody knows I have a monopoly on the truth. Okay. And
I thought you were going to say you were going to take your talents to the Bronx, but
take my talents to the Bronx. So we'll get to that later. Hey, give us your top 3 most hated trio or top most hated trio in sports. We're going to talk about that later. So I was looking at this list of players who are skipping the All-Star game, and my heart sank a little bit when I found out that the one and only Jacob deGrom skipping the All-Star game.
Good.
And I didn't
Smart
like
move.
that, Bert.
Why?
Very smart. But I would be a hypocrite because I am against players who were able to play skipping things that are catered to the fans and, more importantly, the growth of the sport. If you are selected by the fans to go to the All-Star game, you should go to the All-Star game. Nobody's telling you to go out there and play hard. Nobody's telling you to go out there. It's an event for the fans. Nobody takes it seriously anyway. There's nothing wrong with lobbing softballs to players who care. It's not affecting your stats. It doesn't do anything if nobody's telling you to go out there and throw 100-mile heaters in these games. So Jacob deGrom gets there, and I'm going to tell you something. When I saw Jacob deGrom skip the All-Star game, it was disgraceful with a lowercase d, because deGrom spells his name with a lowercase d for you kids who don't know. And I was like, no, man, the Mets. Yes, we're number 1 in our division. However, we haven't really played anybody, if we're being honest with it. Like, a lot of our wins have been against bottom-feeding teams, and the teams that are good, we've been okay against. Now, the Mets need something big because Steve Cohen refuses to release our black jerseys, asshole. But I want not a loser. This Uncle Steve is. This guy, big deal, big Steve Cohen.
You know what, Steve? You think you're so tough and powerful, and you want to be an owner of the fans. You should invite us into your suite, and we'll live broadcast the show. Yeah.
Or drop
Put your money where your
jerseys.
mouth is, Steve.
Yeah, Steve. All right, I'm not even going to call you Steve. You got to earn the Uncle Stevie name, Steven. Okay,
Steven. Stephen.
Drop the black jerseys, Stefan. Drop the black jerseys. But no, when so then I get it. The Mets have a chance to actually win this thing. Our pitching hasn't been healthy. Our offense has been okay. They're underperforming, if we're being honest about it,
and inconsistent at times too.
And inconsistent, and I will believe that when you have the talent, I just have to believe as a fan that it'll come alive at the right time. Baseball season's about a little over halfway over, so I guess it's too early to panic, I guess, but based on everything I've seen, I'm kind of nervous about it. But how do you feel about star players skipping these fan catered events?
I don't mind it. I got to be honest with you. They have to look out for the best interest of their own health, provided that they're a competitive team, right? Obviously, if your team's trash and you want to participate, then great, go for it. Have some fun. What I will say is, since there are really no All-Star games in any major league sports that have any type of meaning to it other than the fact that it's just a fun game to play, they should continue to hold these things until after the season is over. And I don't understand why they don't. Obviously for basketball, NHL, and even baseball, it gives players that weren't elected to those a little break during the season. But to the same point, you're much more likely to have participation for individuals after everything is over, and then plus you get the added bonus of seeing individuals that won a championship go back and participate and gloat that they're the best too. So you have to keep your health first. deGrom wants to stay healthy because your pitching has been beat up, and I get it. And since the MLB All-Star game does not have any type of meaning to it whatsoever, in years past, I think they stopped this in 2018, 2017, it used to decide the winner, either the NL or the AL, that's used to be home field advantage for the teams in the World Series. So it used to have a meaning to it, but it doesn't anymore. So I don't mind it. I'm actually all for, even if we postpone the All-Star games until after the season, I'm a big proponent of just stop having games and only have skills competitions. I want to see hardest pitch. I want to see a home run derby.
Yeah.
I can care less if you put a ragtag group of all-stars together for them to play a borderline friendly baseball competition. That shit that does nothing for me. I'll watch Field of Dreams. I don't care. It makes no difference to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
And same thing with but you get same thing with the NBA All-Star game and even the NHL All-Star game. As hard hitting and as fast paced as the NHL game is, it is a disgrace to hockey right now because it's this, and all the players, they don't want to hit hard, they don't want to get hurt, so it's just nothing but tic-tac-toe hockey. You have games where they're played shortened periods and they end up being like 13 to 12 scores. Honestly, I'll tune in for the skills competition for the NHL and the home run derby and even the NBA competition. I don't watch the Pro Bowl because I think it's absolutely useless, but yeah, I think at this point, if players don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't get hurt, especially mid-season. I mean, they have to look out for themselves. They got to look after their money. If you're hurt, you're not playing, you don't get no bonus checks. There it is.
Go to the All-Star game, you bums. All right, enough. Okay. I heard Bert sit there for 5 long, boring minutes, caping for these athletes, multimillionaires. Go to the game, bro. Shake some hands. These people are spending their hard-earned money to see you. Now, Bert, the one intelligent thing you did say was there probably shouldn't be direct competition because a lot of these players are skipping because they don't want to risk getting hurt. Now, obviously, you can get hurt stepping off the bus or stepping off wherever, walking down the stairs, getting out of bed. I get that. But yes, there will be a significant drop in injury if there wasn't actual games. I am all for a home run derby. I'm all for let's do like a they do that thing if you've seen on like Instagram or social media where like they do some event and then they move like a card or a coin and it's like a race and then you get to move it backwards and forwards. Like they could do something like that with like base running. They there's much smarter people than me that could come up with fun backyard games that baseball players would be into. And I think that would be a lot more enjoyable to see that. I would love to see Tatis and Shohei do some type of hitting like a top golf hitting, like, hey, you have to hit it in this little net thing, or, hey, you're out in the outfield, you have to throw it in this bucket at second. Like, let's see what you're doing here. Yeah,
I mean, look, you could have home run derby, fastest pitch, fastest around the bases if you wanted to. Longest throw from an outfielder, before hitting the ground to test arm strength too. You can do accuracy like you were talking about as well. Dude, there's so many things you can come up with for baseball from a skill standpoint. Like it should be targets if you want. Like just anything,
Kickball, man. Let's do it. Kickball. Baseball players playing kickball would be hilarious. And I think people would get into that.
What I do like is the All-Star softball game with just the celebrities. Solely because I want Bill Nye to play every single one of them and go yard in every one.
So now celebrity games are different because, I wouldn't mind. And then having players coach them, be involved other than just watching. So yeah, like a celebrity, I don't know how you can do it in football. I don't know if like flag or like a 7-on-7, I'm sure. I mean, they do the flag celebrity game now, but maybe do like a better version of it.
You know what they should do for a football All-Star game?
What's that?
Should bring back all the players with bad CTE and see if they have like a trivia competition. First question is, do you know who you are? Second is, do you know where you are?
And do you own a gun? If not, hopefully. Football's hard because I do like the Pro Bowl. I'm one of the last remaining members who actually enjoys the Pro Bowl. The players, obviously, that's something that the players go and just have fun with. But I do like football has done great in the past years. Like they do the dodgeball game, they do the skills, they do the long distance throw. Like the spectacles are more important than the game. Now the NBA, it was for a long time the dunk contest was the main highlight, but now I mean you don't get the caliber of dunkers you probably should be getting. You get a bunch of nobodies. It's not really interesting, and so all that transitions to the skills. I wish they would incorporate the big three, Ice Cube's big three, into that and get some of these old timer guys that aren't in the league that can still play, like White Chocolate, Jason Williams, Katino Mobley, some of these guys that play basketball that you catch them online. Yeah, have them come out and play. They do they do the skills competition. They grab like one WNBA player, one legend, and then one current player from a franchise that has the three, Miami or something like that, and they do that.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if they do any co-ed stuff, because I think that would be cool too, especially with the WNBA and thinking hockey. They have like WNHL. Like I would love to see them do something together, between like a skills competition, or even if it's just like a 4-on-4 friendly game, just to make it something different.
Old timers softball at the All-Star game. I would love that. Yeah. I would love that. Everybody likes seeing the legends. Old timers home run derby, man. Like if they can manage it,
just move the fence in.
Make a fenced-in area. I'm sure there's some of them out there that would have their egos bruised by that, but I think there would be a lot of them that have fun with that.
Yeah.
Obviously get the cool ones. The Canseco can't come, but I'm sure McGuire would come out and do it. And
Canseco can't come because he's too busy hunting aliens, bro.
Yeah, that is true. And saving the world. Love.
Yeah.
Listen, I like
J-Lo's DMs too.
Hey, listen, I was too. So shout out to Jose Canseco. Round of applause for you. One could say Jose Canseco saved baseball for the other side, because he was a snitch. We can call him that, right? He's a
100% he was. Yeah. He still is to a certain extent. He's still trolling people and trying to just mess shit up for everybody. But he's also the only man to ever get a home run hit off of his head. So
good for him.
That. Yeah.
For our local markets, Danny Green came out with a quote saying, talking about the Philly fans, Bert, I love our fans, but when things aren't going well, they can't turn on you. That's the one thing I would disagree or dislike. Some guys use it as motivation, but I think that needs to change. Suffice to say, Danny Green probably won't be back in Philadelphia. And I know a lot of these fickle fans in Philly don't like to hear it, and I'm a Philly fan, and I'm one of them, but he's absolutely right, man.
Wait, I'm sorry. Right. One more time, he said one thing is the fans don't turn on you?
No, he said, I love our fans, but when things aren't going well, they can't turn on you. That's the one thing I would disagree with or dislike. Some guys use it as motivation, but I think that needs to change. Basically, he's saying he loves the Philly fans, but when things aren't going the way they think it should go, they'll like all of a sudden it's Danny Green fucking sucks and trade Ben Simmons and they boo Santa Claus, bro. Like I don't know where you came.
Oh yeah, they hate Santa Claus. Yeah.
And so now I will disagree with him. I am not a big advocate of every quarter if they don't like. There's some Sixers fans that I argue with. They want the team to average 1,000 points per game, and they want every player to shoot 100% from the field goal. They want, they got to. The game is 48 minutes, but they want all the players to play 57 minutes a game. It's like you want perfection. Like, yeah, brother, I want to drive a Ferrari too, but guess what? I have a Kia, I have a Honda. It is what it is.
Dude, I get it. You can find any type of fan. I mean, you can go to any arena and find a fan like that. Where after the first inning, of baseball, they're like, no, this team blows. I can't believe we're doing this. But they're just delusional, to say the least. Like, I mean, it's okay to be critical of your team, but if you're out there like, oh, we never should be paying them, they're awful. If they can't see the big picture, then I admire their passion. But, man, they're just dumb.
Yeah, the Philly fans are a little fickle, especially this playoff. I know they're a little agitated with Ben Simmons and things of that nature, and I do understand that. But
there are non-Philly fans that are agitated with Ben Simmons, so like we get it,
Yeah, but I was one of them. The first night I was like, "Fuck, man, this guy," But at the end of the day, being objective, you can't just give a 24-year-old kid away who has generational talent just because it's not in the area that you expect it or want it to be in. They'll ignore all the great things that you do to focus on the one bad thing. Now, that doesn't mean that he's fine the way he is. He obviously, but trading him is nonsense. Like that's a nonsensical thing that people want for Ben, and you hear it all the time. And so in that aspect, I mean, some encouragement would be nice. I do understand the frustration because it's been like 5 years now, but I mean, think about he's all-team defense, first-team defense. He's a 3-time All-Star. Like you don't just give that away. Not for no Malcolm Brogdon or whatever nonsense trade I saw was floating around there that Philly wisely, because then that would have been the conversation. It was like a first-round pick and Malcolm Brogdon from the Pacers, and I can hear everybody with the collective. Who? That's right, Malcolm Brogdon from the Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks fame. He played good in the bubble, but he's been hurt. Like he's okay. But if that trade would have went off, people would have complained about it because it's not a good trade. But if you would have asked that question the night that the Sixers were eliminated by the Hawks, everybody would have been like, hell yeah, man, hell yeah. And it would,
I mean, the cut's still fresh at that point, right?
Yeah, that's why you got to wait, man. You just got to calm down and wait and do those things. So let's keep it on the NBA, Bert. Some terrible news, and it's not on the court. It was off the court. Newly found KKK member Rachel Nichols from the jump.
Yeah.
Had some things to say about a coworker who just happened to be African American. Now I'm going to pull up the direct quote because I don't want to butcher it, but I'm probably going to just say it the way I interpreted it anyway.
Yes,
because it's funnier. And so, so basically, she was like, "You ain't going to give that black chick my job. I done worked all hard." No, she didn't say that. She kind of said.
I mean, if you read between the lines, I would agree with you 100%.
Yes. So I'm trying to find the direct quote because now everything is about the reaction to her and her stupid little apology. And
so I was just listening to it before the show to freshen up on my memory and how it went. And I'm completely paraphrasing here. Okay. She was recorded talking to someone. I don't know if it was on the phone or in person. And she had said basically how she was offered to do sideline reporting for the NBA Finals. This was last year. And she basically said, but if I do that, it's going to open the door for someone to come in and I guess do the main hosting, if you will. And she was referring to Maria Taylor.
Yes.
Is that her name? Yeah, Maria Taylor. And she basically went into, and we all know why, and it was basically ESPN feeling the pressures of diversity hiring because their track record is not the best when it comes down to diversity hiring, and she goes into that, and it basically says that it's an undercut because regardless of what she meant, and I saw her apology, it basically what she was saying is the only reason Maria Taylor would have gotten that job is because of a diversity hire, despite the fact that she's well qualified and a phenomenal reporter to take on that role in itself. It's just butthurt Rachel Nichols not getting what she wants and being passed over for someone else that arguably is a better overall reporter and someone that actually played basketball before over her. Not that she hasn't had tremendous success in being a reporter, in being on ESPN. But I mean, whatever happened to supporting your coworkers? Holy shit. I'm all about competition and wanting the job you want, but like, Rachel, settle down. You've been quite successful. Like, let's support those around you. And unfortunately it came out and she is paid the price for it. She had to apologize. It was incredibly racist of her to basically say that the only reason she got the job was because she was diverse talent. And hey, I'm not sorry this happened. It is what it is, Rachel, and she should do better, plain and simple.
Now, there's a lot of people caping for Rachel Nichols, saying that's not what she meant, and this is where
exactly
it's funny.
What
like,
she meant. You have the exact
I don't understand how you could interpret it. I mean, here it is. I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football. She covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do, first off, stop right there. To me, that sounds really condescending. You know what I mean? Like if you need to just give her stuff to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which, by the way, I know personally from the female side of it. Stop. No, you don't. That's not the same thing.
And regardless of what an individual knows from a diversity aspect, if it's not one-to-one comparison, so if you don't know what it's like from a racial diversity standpoint, which Rachel Nichols, you don't because you're white, you can't sit here and say, oh, my struggle of being a female is the same as your struggle, because if you look at Maria Taylor's situation, not only is she, from a diversity standpoint, a female, she's also, I'm assuming, identifies as Black or African American. So you also have the ethnicity aspect of her diversity, as opposed to Rachel Nichols, just that she's a female. Now, granted, female reporters, especially in sports, yes, they do face obviously scrutiny, and it's harder for them to climb the ranks. I'm not going to sit here and say it was easy for Rachel Nichols, 100%. Although given who she's related to, it probably was. But Maria Taylor, no question, has had it harder. And by saying, just because they have a bad track record in diversity, what you're saying is you basically picked her because of who she is from a gender and ethnicity standpoint, which is just wrong.
Yeah. never mind the fact, Rachel Nichols, you got these cushy NBA gigs. You have no background in basketball. You wrote for the Sun Sentinel. Maria Taylor has written basketball. She's covered since college, basketball, football,
and she played.
volleyball, played. I mean, what are you talking about? Like, God forbid somebody comes in with more qualifications than you. And this is the problem that, I caution a lot of black women. Obviously, I can't speak to feminism because obviously I'm not a woman, but you have to be careful when it comes like to the white feminism, because at the end of the day, all this proves is that they're only with you until you start messing with their stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's like they put you in a cage and they'll support you and say they'll do all these things up until you come for my job. And now it's like, well, you must be doing it because she's black and blah, blah, blah. And, why are you giving the black chick this job? And it's like, I mean, what are you talking about? Maria Taylor's awesome. She's just better than you, Rachel. How about that? Yeah. Could that be the answer?
How about she's more qualified to cover this subject matter than you are? And that's it.
Yes.
That's the only reason they need. Rachel's the one that was accusatory and thinking that it had to do with her race, and that's why she got it, which, again, is just wrong. And I agree with you. I mean, you can't sit here and say, like, I support you and I support everything and, like, BLM and all this and everything Rachel Nichols was doing. And the second it impedes on her and her personal space and her progress or anything else, she's against it. And I get it. But you're not the one being attacked here. In fact, you're not being attacked at all. You still have a job. You have a job. You're doing quite well for yourself. You just don't have the one that you want because there's someone more qualified to do it than you are. There it is.
Yeah. Now, ESPN, not to their credit, does have a long track record of treating their black employees less than stellar as compared to their white employees. Now, that's not to say that they haven't screwed over some white employees, but I mean, every time you turn on every week, they got a new black guy. It's like they rotate them out. It's like, where did this guy come from? You know what I mean? It's and they give them these shitty, some of the shittiest time slots, and they prop up some of these people. And I know Maria Taylor, she's so good at her job. I know she was demanding Stephen A type money because they do work her. I mean, she was on every show. Like you could turn on ESPN at any given time. Maria Taylor was probably on there on certain days of the week. And so I'm all for getting your money. And so if maybe they gave it to her because, hey, you're asking for this money. We're going to give you a big time gig and let's see what you got. That has nothing to do with her race. That has something to do with her money and her contract. So for Rachel to make it about her race, to me, is like way below the belt. Now, she issued an apology on her NBA show, The Jump. Strategically, if you want to call it that, because they strategically placed Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins by her side, who had to throw on the cape, and they sat there on the porch eating bananas at the big house for her. And it seemed like they had bigger. Oh, I'm sorry. Listen, man, that's what it sounded like to me. Throwing on the cape, like making excuses for her. And I'm like, God forbid you just sit there and shut up and let her be embarrassed, because she should be. That everything doesn't need a cosign. And for you to, and then they apologized more than she did. I mean, she said like 3 or 4 sentences, and they went on these long tirades defending her. And that to me is super strategic.
Yeah, and I didn't know if they did that because I don't know if like the director was like, I think it would look better if you like jumped in. And I'm sure, look, we're all human, so I don't know if they understood where Rachel was coming from, and they saw that it was a mistake on her end, and maybe she had a long conversation with them before it went on, saying how sorry she was and that's not her views and whatever she may have said. What I didn't like is, like you said, it took a lot of the heat off Rachel, when it should have been just kind of like a cold opening, just her telling how sorry she is, how embarrassed she is, how she's going to work to get better, and then, cut to commercial, do an intro, and then come back and do everything else. And, albeit, yes, she had support from her colleagues that were there, which I guess is what they need, but that's something that could have been done in private or even later on throughout the show. I think what everybody was owed, and especially Maria Taylor, was an apology with just Rachel. She's the one to stick it out. And then I'm all for making yourself better. So, you made a mistake. You owned up to it. Suffer through the embarrassment, suffer through the pain, and then show everybody how you're going to make it better by getting involved in different initiatives that support, diverse women in sports journalism, in journalism as a whole. Put your money where your mouth is. Donate towards organizations. Spend time working with individuals in that field to make them better too. So, I mean, own up to it and then give back to the community. That's what I think you should do.
You know, there's a lot of people out there that'll jump in and say, oh, why does everything have to be about race? Well, probably if people stop making things about race, we don't have to sit here and argue and talk about race. I mean, the crux of this story is race. I don't know exactly what other angle you kind of want to play here. I didn't make it about race.
No, she did.
Rachel Nichols did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
she said she lost out on a job because ESPN wanted to promote someone who comes from a diverse background. Yeah. Completely ignoring the fact that she's more qualified for that role. So yes, Rachel Nichols very much made this about race, and she knows that too. That's why she apologized. Well, she apologized because she got caught, but 100%. Nevertheless, she knows now. Yeah. Now,
granted, the recording was from a coworker who recorded without her knowledge, which makes it even better because obviously.
Well, that's when the true colors come out. I mean, that's when you catch somebody's guard down. That's when you get the real person. So.
I don't know if I can read that, Bert. You go ahead and read it because that sounds weird when I do it.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Bossman said that white people love to call race issues politics.
Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, no. Sorry, guys. Racism still exists. I mean, I was racially profiled like a month ago. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Teach your son how to drive.
Drive, and my little one's at the park, and somebody from across the way just said, "Hey, there's a black guy with two white kids at the park, and you know, I think he kidnapped them, so you should go check it out." And of course, the township police drove on by. Luckily, I am a township employee, and they recognized who I was, and they said, "Well, obviously, you're not a kidnapper." And yeah, I mean, that wouldn't have happened to Bert if Bert had two like legit looking. My kids are light skinned, so I guess from a distance. But if Bert had two little black kids at the park, nobody that wouldn't have happened to him. They would have assumed he adopted them or was part of some type of program or whatever. So like,
I would kidnap your kids though because they're fun. They're awesome to hang out with,
And your kids are adorable, so I'd kidnap them. And we go to the park.
They're all right. We're good.
They're all right. Yeah.
We'll trade them this weekend. When I'm down in North Carolina, we'll just swap. We'll do a full family swap. So let's
do it, man. That's awesome. Like nobody's making it about race. Racism and racists are making it about race because they let it influence their behavior and their attitudes towards everybody and everything. And of course, we're going to talk about it because it needs to be talked about. Shout out to the citizens of Mount Laurel. That has nothing to do with sports, but shout out to the citizens of Mount Laurel who showed up to that Edward, whatever is Clancy's house, the neighborhood racist that bullied all his neighbors and told everybody to come see him. And the entire population of South Jersey showed up at his front porch, and they had to board up their house. They arrested the guy, and he's going to be charged with bullying and all vandalism and all types of shit. So
I'm sure, like intimidation and good. And I got to be honest with you, that's one check his mouth wrote that he could not cash. And I always love it. I mean, look, everybody this day and age with not only just recordings, but like putting things out on the internet and like you don't giving too much personal information, especially your address. But if you're going to get ballsy and dare I say, probably stupid enough to say where your address is and expect people not to show up, like you're just a moron, an absolute moron.
Now, I know that neighborhood he lives in, and which is even more surprising because there is a lot of black people that live in that neighborhood. So a guy who was openly doing that, and there was a bunch of people that I actually know on Facebook who have posted stories about this guy for years.
Really?
I have a friend who, things like he would like kick people's doors and.
So this isn't the first issue.
He's had several issues where the Mount Laurel police have done nothing about it. Anybody who knows the Mount Laurel police probably can understand why nothing was done about it. And I'll just leave it there. You can form your own opinions about that. I have a buddy who was in a hunting club with him who said that, I could have told you this guy was racist, a long time ago. My friend was actually kicked out of the hunting club because of some of their views that he did not agree with, and my friend is a white guy, and it was just too much for him. And he had to speak up, and they kicked him out of the group. And so led by this dude. And so without betraying any trust or anything like that, it's just a sad story overall. And so, people need to understand that, like, and when white people get online and they read these stories and it's like, oh my God, you always make it about race. You kind of can't get it because you can't experience it. I'm sensitive to it. So I can see the little hints. I can tell when I'm being condescended to. I can tell when people are being cheeky with me, where I know like this guy's being a little racist without trying to be. And you know, it's like I'm in tune with that because I am black, and I know a lot of people don't understand that. Now, for me, it shouldn't even go that far. It should just be human. Bert, you are a human, and you understand compassion. You're compassionate. Mike, our boss, is compassionate about human behavior, and it's like right is right and wrong is wrong. And you know, so seeing that situation brought a lot of joy to my heart to see people from all races unite when that situation came about.
Yeah, I mean, look, you love to see it when literally you have all races come together to show that they're actually about to fight against racism, plain and simple. And yeah, I mean, it's sad that we still have shit like this, but now hopefully people will understand, but they won't. It's still going to take time, and unfortunately not quick enough by our standards. But this dude's a doof, and he got what he deserved, and he will get even further what he deserves too.
All right, Bert, defend. Oh, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Love you too. Love everybody. Everybody should love everybody, man. And mind your own business. How about that? Like, just, you know, stop worrying about other people and treat everybody nice. I mean, this world will go so much farther. All right, Bert, defend Sha'Carri Richardson. Should she be smoking pot, running in a straight line?
Listen, if you can smoke pot and run that fast, I say go for it. However, the U.S. Olympic Committee doesn't feel the same. And although, and I know, and look, Jerm, we've talked about this extensively through text message, and I agree with your viewpoint that you're about to present. But I'm going to go ahead and throw a little appetizer out there for everybody. Do whatever you want. Smoke pot, and we understand that it's not a performance-enhancing substance, but it is something that they test for and something that will cause you to lose out on an Olympic roster spot. Plain and simple. And I'm going to let my partner finish up this argument because he can put it way, way better than I ever can and has done before. So, Jerm, please take the floor on this issue.
So, Bert, when this came out, I'm trying to read the exact. I wanted to get the time frame right. I know she was hit with a 1-month ban for failing a marijuana test.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm pro weed. I don't smoke it myself because I don't like the way it makes me feel. That doesn't mean I'm against it. Do what, like you just said, do whatever you want to do. The story behind it is her mom died, boo-hoo, and she smoked pot because she was stressed, boo-hoo. Times are hard, even though, you know, she's about to go on to the Olympics, or so she thought. She was on the cusp of doing something great. She broke the rules, Bert, and the rules are there for a reason. You have to be smarter than that. It is okay for you to smoke pot for whatever reason. Do it after you qualify for the Olympics. The testing policy, much like I get on the NFL players, this is not random. You know when it's going to happen. You have to, like, and when this broke, I simply said, Shakari Richardson, you idiot, facepalm emoji. And people were jumping down my neck. And I'm not attacking her as a person because I don't know her. I'm attacking I'm attacking her as a representative of this country. I'm attacking her decision making because you have to be smarter than that. Ty, as we all know, super pro-black and wants to do everything on this, and he's like a revolutionary now, and I'm all for that. I support him in that. And he said, y'all, you're tearing her down. You're doing this, and that she's already getting torn down. I was like, you're damn right I'm tearing her down because she deserves to be. If you know you're not supposed to do something, Bert, your job, and you love to smoke pot, but your job is on the line, guess what you're going to do because you're smart? Hey, I got to stop smoking pot, at least for this brief period of time.
Yeah.
You have to follow the rules. Now, we can argue if we agree with the rules. I don't agree. The Olympics probably shouldn't be testing for pot. Sports probably shouldn't be testing for pot. Pot should be legal everywhere. But guess what? In that sport, particularly these qualifying, you can't do it. So it doesn't matter if we agree if the rule is dumb or not. I do think the rule is dumb. That doesn't mean you don't have to follow it. There's plenty of rules at everybody's jobs that we may or may not agree with. We got to follow them. We don't got to like them. And so when she did that, and for me, I particularly take it hard because she is a black athlete. You have a bigger responsibility to your people. You have just flushed millions and millions of dollars of endorsements down the toilet. I'm sure you're going to make it up the next time you're allowed to compete. That doesn't change the fact that you missed it out on it now. You automatically take a loss. I don't care what you make in the future. You were missed out on what you had now. You were on the cusp of something great, and you fucked it up because you wanted to smoke pot. Oh, my mom died like a month ago, and I get it. Everybody has dead moms. Everybody's moms die. Cope better. Cope differently, okay? Cope in a way that doesn't affect your future. Cope in a way like the rest of us, a majority of the country who don't smoke weed when their parents die. They're going to use your energy. It boggles my mind that an Olympic athlete who is so supremely gifted doesn't have the discipline to say, man, I should probably not smoke this joint. And now she's paying the price. Now, to her credit, Bert, and I'll let you go in a second because I know I'm ranting. She jumped on the TV. She took responsibility. It kind of makes it worse for me because she admitted that she knew what she did was wrong and she knew that she was breaking the rules. And I'm kind of like, that makes it kind of worse for me. Like that you knowingly did it.
Yeah, but I mean, the other side of the coin, if she came on and said like or tried to spin it or lie, you'd be like, just own up to it. So I mean, I get why she did it because there's literally no out to it. She owned up to it. I mean, it tested positive. Okay. So, but go ahead, finish your thought.
And all I was gonna say was, the one thing she did, she said that always drives me nuts. Oh, I'm only human. Don't judge me. Well, no, Sha'Carri Richardson, I'm gonna judge you. I'm going to judge you because when people say I make mistakes, I'm only human. That means I lack self-control and I have no discipline. And so it's my excuse to make bad choices. I'm just human. No, the fact that you literally just said you knowingly broke a rule doesn't make you human. It just makes you, like I said at the very beginning, you're an idiot. You could have used that money to invest. I know where you come from. You could have used that money to invest in your people and your community. And Ty was getting on me about how I only support certain black people. You're damn right. I support the smart black people. I don't support the dumb ones who make dumb decisions every day and refuse to get to just wise up, Bert. I learned a long time ago. I had a family member, an uncle, who sold drugs. Surprise, surprise. And he told me, hey, I sell drugs to black people because at the end of the day, there's always going to be bottom drawer blacks. That's what he used to call them. They're bottom drawer blacks. No matter what you do, Bert, and we know them, there's bottom drawer whites and there's bottom drawer everybody. No matter what you do, all they care about, because they're undisciplined and they have no motivation, all they want to do is get high and they want to wear Jordans and they want to buy stuff because they're materialistic and they live above their means and that's all their focus is. They're uninspired. I'd rather take that money and help, my kids and my friends' kids who are inspired, help them get into sports, help them get into school, pay for nice things because they go to school and do what they're supposed to do. Reinvest in your community. Sha'Carri Richardson has to prove to me that she is somebody worth investing in. I'm not going to just root for her because she's black. To me, that never made sense. Yes, I'm rooting for black people, but if you're just going to be a dummy like these basketball players or these football players like Josh Gordon, who's applying for another reinstatement, Bert. Are you kidding me?
Only to get back in and only to get kicked back out. Yeah.
He's going to get kicked out again. I mean, you heard it to July 9th, 2021, if he gets reinstated, Bert and Jerm are telling you right now, he will not make it the season. He will get kicked out again.
Correct.
100%. All right. I'm done with Sha'Carri Richardson. I wish her all the best. I am rooting for her success, but she had and has to be smart.
Yeah, I agree, right? And so a couple of things to counterpoint, and for Jerm, I mean, in all fairness, he doesn't like any dumb people, whether they're black, white.
Yeah, right.
Asian,
We're specifically talking about it. Yeah, she's black.
No, I'm just putting it out there because he doesn't like dumb white people either. So
yes, 100%.
Yeah, and in her case, since this is the first time. Obviously, the first time she's in the spotlight, but also the first time she's made a mistake like this. And when she says she's only human, I get it. You do have a moment of weakness in being a human 100%. She owned up to it, and that's fine. I do want to address one thing.
Okay.
And when it first came out, there are a lot of people drawing parallels between her. What's the difference between her doing it or the difference between Michael Phelps doing it? And I hope everybody listening has already come to this conclusion, the fact that Michael Phelps waited until he wasn't training for the Olympics. Waited till it was done. He has the medals. He was good to go. Yes, she made a mistake. I hope this isn't the end all be all for her. I hope that she still gets endorsements, and it looks like she's going to do so. What I don't understand, and moment of weakness or not, is these Olympic athletes work so fucking hard. I said it on last week's show too. They work so hard to get to the point where they are, beating out hundreds of other individuals for an opportunity to represent their country. And day in, day out, year over year. It's not like other professional athletes where they can showcase their talents every other night or every week or every month or once every Sunday. You know, they have to wait 4 years. And in order to get to that stage, they have to go through world competitions and trials and beat out everybody else. So for me, yes, I know she made a mistake. Yes, I know she was dumb. It is incredibly heartbreaking to see that because she was such a trailblazer and was going to be, and still is to a certain extent, but, you know, had she competed in these games, was certainly going to be an icon. You know, not just for the American people, but definitely for the Black community too, as Jerm referenced before as well. And, you know, obviously for little girls out there as also, I mean, she was doing it. She had her own style that, you know, obviously the commentators love to comment on. She was her own person. She still is, and she's still incredibly unique. And unfortunately, this mistake cost her. So yes, I'm glad she owned it. I hope she comes back better than ever, and honestly hope to see her be successful in the future.
Yeah, that Michael Phelps thing drove me crazy, Bert, because I knew that was what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of people, oh, Michael Phelps. And this is why people, especially black, I'm talking to black people now because, you know, this seems to be most of the case because, you know, they like to jump in and use a white example. And I'm going to sit here and defend Michael Phelps as a white guy, even though we're talking about Sha'Carri Richardson and people think I should probably be defending her. Mm-hmm. Michael Phelps, as you said, tested. He didn't even test. It was just a picture that leaked from a friend that was taken after the Olympics. You know, for people who don't know, smoking, and that was the other thing. Oh, she was tested. She smoked it like a month before. Well, no, they only test you during competition. So she just had smoked. Like, you know, you have to, it's important to get the information on all these things. Michael Phelps was suspended 90 days.
Yeah.
All right. He missed competitions in between. And he missed millions and millions of dollars of endorsements he had already had. So she just missed out on endorsements she could have had that she probably would have gotten. Michael Phelps lost tangible money. So it's not the same. It's totally different. And yes, it is a stupid rule, but you still have to follow the stupid rules. Sorry, guys. It's just one of those things, you know, where you can make it racial if you want to, but there's not really many good examples of it. I don't understand the racial component of it.
It's not,
and it's not. But that again, and I guess that's
it. Just stems back to obviously everybody agrees it's a stupid thing to test for right now, especially with more and more states making it legal. The state she was in, it was legal to do so. She broke no laws in doing so. What she broke was a rule for the competition she was taking part in. And I get it. Like when I first saw it, I was furious because I watched her trials. I was like, she is going to seriously bring the heat in the Olympics. And then when I saw that news alert come out, I was so mad. My initial reaction was, that's so stupid. Why are they still testing for weed? And then after being enlightened by the God himself, Jerm, about rule breaking, I was put in my place and I was educated. And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. She broke a rule. It is what it is. It sucks. We're all frustrated by it incredibly, but hey, it is what it is. On another note, off this topic, we got about 242 watching us right now, and couldn't be more thankful for everybody tuning in and visiting us, especially on a Friday night. Our boss in the comments has said if this feed hits 500 views live, he's going to strip down on his next show, which I can only assume is going to be next Thursday night, 8 o'clock on Thursdays, The Divide. So, hey, everybody out there, keep sharing. You want to see a middle-aged, pale, naked, white, bald man on Thursday night at 8 o'clock? Let's go.
Phil jumps in. It's legal for me to drink alcohol, but if I go to work and drink, I'll be fired. Plain and simple. Yeah, I mean, seriously, listen, I'm a drinker. Bert's a drinker. We love our tequila. We love our beer.
Yeah.
And listen, but at the end of the day, I'm a firefighter, buddy. I can't show up to work drunk and drinking, and then something happens at work. I get fired for it.
Yeah.
And it's the same Same for Bert. You know, he goes to work drunk and something happens. Guess what? He gets fired. Hey, if some people, high functioning alcoholics like us, Bert, I'm sure we can go to work, have some drinks in us, and be perfectly fine. But you can't trust everybody to do it. And that kind of with the marijuana conversation, as it starts to be normalized across the country, where do you draw the line? Like, she's running in a straight line. If we're legalizing weed, I want to see some wheat high javelin throwers, shot put throwers. Let's see how that goes. Hey, let's see how well she does if she has to run around the track. Like, she only had to run in a straight line. How about some hurdle jumpers? Like, people think about this like, oh, legalize weed in sports, it should be fine. Like, these football players can't even play football sober without giving each other concussions because they're hitting each other in the head. Imagine if they're running around high. Like, and that, there's certain players, Ricky Davis, Percy Harvin, these guys say, oh, there hasn't been a game I haven't been high. And it's like, you know, that I hate when they come out and say that, because that's fine for you, supremely gifted athletes. But a lot of the people in the NFL aren't, like, yes, they're gifted athletes, but they're not in that top 1% like you guys are. You know, a lot of you are outliers. You guys are not rules. And it sets, for me, it sets a bad precedent. And again, it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, because I said at the very beginning that I am pro marijuana for her. Like, the science says it's good for her rehabilitation. It's good for stress relief. I'm all for that. However, when you're doing a job, you know, there's certain things it's altering. It may not be enhancing, but it's a mind altering substance. And when you have a job where you have to be that focused, I don't think it does anybody any good to do it. After the game, go for it, man. Off season, go for it. I wish the NFL and the NBA, I know they said they stopped testing for it, but I think if you do get caught with it still somehow, like if they, you know, you still get in trouble, if they just say, hey, off season, whatever, certain breaks, give them a time during the year where in the middle of the season during All-Star break, hey, for these 2 weeks, smoke some pot. Like, if you need it for recovery, and something. I don't know. I'm free. You know, I'm brainstorming here, but there's a way you can control it without it being an issue. But they're not. I don't think they're ever going to change the rule flat out. Bert, is where I was trying to go with that.
I think they will. I think eventually, as more and more states, of course, continue to legalize it, I think it'll be hard to sit here and say, and I get the point, if you can't show up to work drunk, you can't show up to work high. I completely understand that. But the fact that it stays in the difference between alcohol and a substance like marijuana is, if you get tested even the day after you use marijuana, it's going to show up, or even a couple days after, it's going to show up in your system, whereas alcohol would have already left the system by then. So I think that they will eventually change that. Not anytime in the near future. I would say maybe within 5 years, I would hope. But who knows? I mean, they may not. They may stick to their guns completely and say, no, we need these athletes to be, you know, off of any type of substance whatsoever. So who knows?
All right, let's. I'll give you a couple quick hits. I just want your quick reaction, Bert, before we get out of here.
All right.
Yay or nay, Slam Diego as the Padres' new nickname because of their massive offensive output.
Ooh,
do you like that?
Yeah.
You do like that?
Yeah.
Slam. Okay. All right. We like that. The Suns are up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. Is Milwaukee going to win a game? Or is the Suns going to sweep this thing?
You think it's? I mean, it could be another Suns in 4, but honestly, I would be, especially with Giannis back, I would want to say they're going to at least win one game, or who knows? I mean, look, a 2-game swing is nothing right now. The Bucks could come back and win the next 2, and then it's a 3-game series.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Paul needs this title, I will say.
He does.
More than anything. I'm trying to look. The next game, I believe, is Sunday. Yes, Sunday. So, yeah, Chris Paul needs this NBA title to solidify his legacy. Even if he doesn't, I've been hard on Chris Paul. I'm not ready to fill out the Chris Paul. Do it in the finals, even though he is doing it in the finals. But you have to win it now, Chris Paul. But if Chris Paul does end up winning finals, and I'm sure they'll give him finals MVP, I will fill out that Chris Paul apology form. So, yeah, I do think they got the shirts printed up because the marketing, it's all lining up. The gods have written it. Suns info. All right, Bert, is this fair or foul? Oh shoot, I lost the question I had. Never mind. I don't know. I deleted the question out. It's foul. Yeah, it's foul. Oh no, okay. Hey, is Rachel Nichols racist?
Yes.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Nah. All right. So
maybe not 100%, but definitely a little bit.
It's funny. My buddy's like, I don't think she's racist. I think she's white elitist. I was like, wait, what? it's a nicer. That's like calling the garbage guy like the trash dispenser, sanitation, whatever guy.
That's what
like,
they.
It's
I
like
get what he's saying, but to the same point, like, no, there. I mean, look, when there's a fireman, there's smoke, there's fire. So
there's fire. She's I looked up when you said that, considering where Rachel Nichols was from, maybe it wasn't as surprising, and I didn't know where she was from, so I did a quick Google search. I mean, Diane Sawyer, really?
Yeah.
I mean, geez. All right, so that kind of changed everything.
When you look and you see who her family members are, you're like, oh, okay. Like, and you're gonna sit here and talk about how someone got somewhere because of who they are. Like, let's ease off of that. All right. So,
and N'Keal Harry from the Patriots requested a trade. Man, has he lost his mind? He just got there like 2 years ago, bro.
No, I don't think so. I think he's lost. He also may know something we don't, but I also think he doesn't believe that that's what is going to take him to obviously the Mecca, which is winning a Super Bowl. And I mean, say what we want about the Pats. I mean, as we saw last year without Brady and Belichick, they are not the same organization whatsoever. And granted, it helps that, that they've lost all their receivers that, obviously from the Brady era too. So, no, I think it was smart. And I think he recognizes that there's, obviously better teams out there for right now.
Yeah. I don't, when I saw that he requested a trade, the first thing I thought was, Mac Jones looks like trash in training camp. Yeah. And he was like, I'm not doing this, guys. I am not doing this. I'm not going to waste my time. You have zero plans. And that, as a Buffalo Bills fan, makes me very, very happy, because you know who looks good? Josh Allen. He looks even better. And listen, I get it. It's shorts and T-shirt season, but all of our core is coming back. Stephon Diggs is out there working with Josh Allen right now. It's in July. I mean, I love it, man. It's just it's destiny. We're gonna win the Super Bowl this year. I'm calling it. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC title game, revenge game for the Bills, and the Bills are going to. I'm way too early prediction.
Yeah,
the Bills will defeat the Aaron Rodgers led Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. I said it. I said it.
Wow. Okay.
So we will see, Bert. But we'll do a way too early prediction show in a couple weeks here when training camps get to going, and we'll start our NFL coverage. I'm waiting for the NFL to come back. I don't know about you, buddy, but
yeah, I can't wait. I mean, the fact that practices and camps are starting to come back too is just, it's here, especially now that hockey's done. Basketball's almost done too. Obviously there's still baseball, but whenever you have only one sport on, it's just, you're just always craving for more. And yes, we know there are other sports out there, obviously, with, the Olympics, which will certainly take up my time. But I'm not really like a soccer, tennis, NASCAR guy. So
no, me neither. So, but that does it for us, Bert. We will probably be taking next week off. Bert's going on a little family vacay. I'm gonna go check him out. We'll post some stuff on social, so look for us. I might try to sneak on the Divide next week. I don't know, but maybe I'll talk to Mike and Corey.
Well, we didn't hit 500, so there's not going to be Naked Mike on there, unfortunately.
Hey, listen, but this is our most live viewership, so I might just jump in there naked just for the fun of it. We'll see.
Why not?
Why not? Everybody, quick hits, smoothmyballs.com, promo code Divide. Give us a shot.network/shop. Promo code SHOPBOYS with a Z. Get free shipping, some money off. And check us out at Stuff About Sports on Instagram. Bert, man, let's see. Bring your friends. Yeah, bring your friends to Divide. I'm going to strip on the Divide. I'm going to do it. I'll do it. Stuff About Sports strip session. We will be doing a giveaway for Stuff About Sports on Instagram. So please join the Instagram page. Next week, I will drop the deets on the little giveaway, the free merch giveaway that we're doing on our little contest there. But Bert, you want to sign us out of this bad boy?
Yeah, see y'all in 2 weeks. Have a good one.
Yerp.